Welcome back to the OpenAI Associate Developer course. In this session, we're going to explore the response format configuration property for our chat completion configuration object. This property is crucial for ensuring that the AI's responses are formatted correctly as either valid JSON or plain text. Either way, this property helps ensure you receive more predictably structured outputs. The response format property allows you to specify the format of the response returned by the API. By setting this property, you can ensure that the responses are structured in a specific way, such as JSON. This is particularly useful for applications that require consistent and easily parsable outputs. To properly use the response format configuration property, there are two key steps needed to incorporate it into your code effectively. First, you will add the response format property to your configuration object. The value for this property is a JSON object which has type for the key and a value of either JSON object or text. Note, when using TypeScript, you cannot simply use a string for the value. Instead, you need to create a union variable. We will demonstrate this in our upcoming coding exercise. Next, in the messages object, you must include text which instructs the AI to produce responses in JSON format. This can be done either in the content of the system role or in any one of the user roles. You will get a runtime error if you fail to provide this. This two-part instruction set ensures that the model generates responses in the desired JSON or simple text format and prevents issues such as generating an unending stream of whitespace. Now that we understand the requirements for the response format property at a high level, let's go ahead and walk through some code which demonstrates adding the response format property to our OpenAI configurations object. Back in our defs file, one of the first things to notice is that we have removed the stop property from the previous lesson, as it may interfere with the JSON response due to the new line stop sequence. Also, we've removed the user and end configuration properties as they are not necessary for this lesson. And finally, we've removed the max tokens property because we want to see the whole JSON response. And in this lesson, we don't want any output from the AI getting truncated. The first thing we'll do is declare a variable to hold our response format type. We will define our union variable and name it chat response format type. We declare this as a union variable because we must ensure it can only have one of the following string values: the string JSON object or the string text or undefined. With the constraints declared, we will initialize our variable to the string JSON object. Next, we update our messages array to include a system role that instructs the model to output all responses as JSON. Remember, to avoid runtime errors, you must include this or similar instruction in either the system role or a user role. Here's a pro tip. If you have any assistant roles in your messages, be sure to update their content to a JSON formatted response example as well. Otherwise, if you're telling the AI to respond using JSON, but then give a bunch of non-JSON formatted response examples, your results may be unpredictable. Okay, now that we have the system role, all we need to do is add a bit to its content stating to format responses from the AI as JSON. And finally, we add the response format property to our OpenAI configurations object. Notice the value is a JSON object itself and has one required key, the type key. Here, we supply the type's value as our chat response format type variable. So now we have our response format property included in our OpenAI configuration object and have its value set to a JSON object with the type set to our chat response format type variable. Go ahead and compile and run your application and notice the AI's responses are now formatted as JSON. By following these steps, we ensure that the responses generated by the AI are properly formatted as JSON. This allows for structured and predictable outputs, making it easier to integrate the responses into your applications. In summary, the response format helps us influence the AI's responses so that they become more structured and predictable for our applications. Also, remember that setting the response format property is a two-step process. First, to declare the type as JSON, and then to place instructions in either the system or one of the user roles to respond using JSON formatted output. That's all for this lesson. In our upcoming lessons, we will continue to explore additional properties and techniques to optimize your interactions with the OpenAI Chat Completion API. Stay tuned, and let's continue enhancing our AI-powered applications together.